Hello, Barcelona family. Like and subscribe to the channel to know everything about Barcelona. In this video, we will discuss some huge news concerning Barcelona. But before that, we need to talk about some very important topics regarding our beloved club. Let's move on to the first point. Barcelona is determined to return to the top of European football and, to achieve this, the sports management is constantly working to find new talents who fit into the ambitious reconstruction led by Hansi Flick. In this context, the name André Santos has started to resonate strongly in the corridors of Camp Nou. The young Brazilian midfielder, who has pleasantly surprised this season with his performances in League One, has become one of the club's priority targets. And this is not just a simple follow-up. Barcelona has already shown a real and deep interest in his services, convinced that we are dealing with a recruitment that can make a difference, both in the present and in the future. At 20 years old, André has shown to be a midfielder with enormous potential. His loan to Strasbourg has served to consolidate him as one of the great revelations of the French Championship. With 9 goals and 4 assists, the Brazilian has not only shown with his offensive statistics, unusual for his position, but also with his ability to direct the game, his tactical intelligence, his physical deployment, and his refined technique. He is a player who interprets football with unusual maturity for his age, which has attracted the attention of several major European clubs, including Arsenal and Paris Saint-Germain. However, André Santos has clearly expressed his desire to play for Barcelona. The mutual interest between the club and the player has been confirmed by various sources close to the operation. The Brazilian, who currently belongs to Chelsea, does not see his future at Stamford Bridge favorably. Although he is one of the most important promises of South American football in recent years, his progression at the English club has been hindered by the lack of opportunities. And although he may have a new chance under the direction of Enzo Maresca, the truth is that André does not want to remain in a secondary role. He wants to grow, compete, and play regularly. And Barcelona, with a young, dynamic, and ambitious project, presents itself as the perfect scenario for his development. The arrival of Hansi Flick on Barcelona's bench has revived the enthusiasm for building a team based on young talent, but with a top-level competitive mentality. The German coach has made it clear that he wants committed players, capable of adapting, with a good understanding of the game and a hunger for titles. And in this profile, André Santos fits perfectly. Flick, a connoisseur of international football and always attentive to emerging promises, has given the green light to the monitoring of the Brazilian midfielder. And it is not ruled out that there are direct conversations between the coach and the player's entourage to present the role he could play in the team. From a technical and tactical point of view, André could bring a lot to Barcelona. He is a midfielder who masters both positional play and transitions, capable of recovering balls, distributing with discernment, breaking lines through dribbling, and arriving in the opponent's area with danger. His mid-range shot is remarkable, and his ability to associate in short and long passes makes him a versatile option for different schemes. He is one of those players who make the team better, who understand when to accelerate and when to slow down, who constantly offer themselves as a passing line, and who do not shy away from defensive effort. All this makes him an ideal piece for the new style that Flick wants to implement, based on high pressing, quick circulation, and possession with purpose. Furthermore, the recruitment of André Santos also represents an institutional bet for the future. Barcelona has been working for some time on building a lasting squad, based on the development of young talents with international projection. In an increasingly inflationary market, finding players with André's potential at a reasonable price is a move that can bear fruit, both sportingly and economically. Incorporating him now would be anticipating the competition, securing a top-level asset before his value explodes. The player's desire to wear the Blaugrana jersey is an advantage that the club must know how to exploit. Every day, an emerging talent like André does not express so clearly his willingness to play for Barcelona. The footballer's own entourage has indicated that he sees in the Catalan club a unique opportunity to grow as a professional, both for the style of play and the history, the atmosphere of Camp Nou, and the tradition of trusting young talents. And if Barcelona has demonstrated one thing throughout its history, it is that when a player really wants to be part of the club, the chances of the recruitment materializing increase considerably. Of course, it will not be an easy operation. Chelsea, which owns the player's rights, is not completely convinced to let him go. However, the internal competition at the English club, combined with the player's desire to seek a new path, could facilitate the negotiations. The key will be to present an offer that satisfies both the London club and the footballer. And in this sense, Barcelona's sports management is already working discreetly but with determination. Different formulas are being considered: loan with an obligation to buy, transfer with deferred payments, or even player exchange. Everything is on the table, and the important thing is that the conversations are progressing at a good pace to conclude the recruitment before other clubs intensify their interest. Barcelona supporters, always demanding but also enthusiastic about new talents, have reasons to be excited about the potential arrival of André Santos. We are talking about a different midfielder, with personality, technique, and a vision of the game that can mark an era at Camp Nou. A player who embodies the values of beautiful play, who prioritizes tactical intelligence over physical power, who understands football as a collective art, and who always seeks to make his teammate better. André is more than a promise. He is a footballer ready to make the leap and triumph in a great club like Barcelona. Furthermore, his incorporation would send a clear message to the football world: Barcelona is more alive than ever. It is attentive to the market, works with a vision for the future, and does not hesitate to bet on players who can truly make a difference. For all these reasons, we throw the question to all Barcelona supporters: what do you think about the possibility of recruiting André Santos? Do you think he would fit well into Flick's scheme? Does the idea of seeing this young Brazilian grow at Camp Nou and become one of the pillars of the new Barcelona excite you? The ball is in the club's court, but also in the supporters, who have always known how to recognize talent when they see it. And André has everything it takes to triumph with our colors. The second piece of news concerns a very important decision for our club. Barcelona has begun a new phase under the firm direction of Hansi Flick, and it is doing so with clear, coherent, and firm decisions that mark a change of course from the mistakes of the past. On this occasion, one of the pieces of news that has circulated in the club's offices is the offer of Spanish fullback Pedro Porro, currently at Tottenham in the Premier League. However, far from being swayed by the name or the player's occasional performance in England, the technical staff led by Flick has been categorical. Pedro Porro does not fit the new Blaugrana project, and his recruitment has been dismissed with total determination. This decision, far from being controversial or debatable, should be seen as an unequivocal signal that Barcelona has found its sporting compass again and no longer recruits on impulse or under media pressure, but out of necessity, game idea, and identity. The news that Pedro Porro was offered to Barcelona was confirmed by sources close to the player's entourage. His representation agency explored the possibility of placing the fullback in one of the major clubs in Europe, and among the most desired destinations was the Blaugrana club. However, the response from the sports management was cold and direct: there is no interest. The internal evaluation was clear from the beginning. Hansi Flick, who works side by side with the technical area managers, does not consider Pedro Porro a player suited to the style he wants to implement in the team. And what is most remarkable in this situation is that, for the first time in a long time, the club did not hesitate, did not get carried away by external noise or the temptation to add another name to the squad. It acted with common sense. Pedro Porro has been an important piece for Tottenham in the Premier League. He is an offensive fullback with a good foot, a trajectory, and the ability to join the attack with danger. He has accumulated assists, won duels, and demonstrated remarkable physical deployment. All this is very good, but it is not enough. Barcelona does not need a vertical fullback and nothing more. It needs footballers who understand positional play, who know when to advance and when to contain, who are capable of building from the back and interpreting the rhythms of the match. In this profile, Pedro Porro does not fit. He is a player with virtues, yes, but with a style that does not adapt to the Blaugrana philosophy. His offensive approach, based more on explosiveness than on pause, more on the quick cross than on patient association, distances him from the type of fullback that Flick is looking for in his scheme. And this is not a criticism of the player, it is simply a matter of tactical fit. Each team has its identity, its model, its way of understanding the game. In a club like Bayern Munich, which, with Compan, wants to regain intensity and verticality, Pedro Porro can be an interesting piece. In fact, the Bavarian team places him at the top of the list to reinforce the right flank, but Barcelona does not share this vision. Here, the fullback must have pause, intelligence, a collective sense. It is not just about running down the flank. It is about knowing when to generate superiority, when to maintain possession, when to close inside, and when to double outside. Decision-making is key, and there, according to the technical evaluation, Pedro Porro does not fit the necessary profile. Furthermore, his release fee is exorbitant. Tottenham has valued him at a figure oscillating between 60 and 65 million euros. A completely unnecessary expense for a position that is not a priority at the moment and for a player who would not be differential in the system that Flick wants to develop. Investing such a sum in a fullback who does not fully integrate is repeating the mistakes of the past. And Barcelona has finally learned that recruitments must be the result of a strategy, not improvisation, that one cannot fall back into the trap of the attractive name without evaluating the context, that a great player in England will not necessarily be a great recruitment at Camp Nou. That is why this refusal is much more than a simple no to an offer. It is a clear message to the football world. Barcelona is no longer a club that moves by impulses. It is a club that thinks, evaluates, and decides with its head. The arrival of Hansi Flick has brought with it an air of seriousness, professionalism, and sports planning that was sorely lacking. Gone are the media recruitments that only serve to make headlines. Gone are the bets without a tactical basis. Gone is improvisation. Today, Barcelona recruits with an idea, an objective, a roadmap. And this should fill us with pride as Cules, because it means that we once again have a project, that we are no longer at the mercy of the market, but that we are charting our own path, that we have a coach who is not impressed by names, but who builds from the game. Flick has shown courage in refusing Pedro Porro. He has shown that he knows what he wants and that he will not allow anyone to impose decisions that do not fit into his model. And this, friends Cules, is exactly what this club needs to return to the top. And you, Barcelona supporters, what do you think? Do you find Hansi Flick's decision to refuse the recruitment of Pedro Porro wise? Do you think the club did well not to spend over 60 million on a player who does not adapt to the Blaugrana style, or do you think we missed an opportunity to add depth on the right side with a player with an offensive profile? The debate is open, and it is healthy that it exists. But the important thing is that, this time, the club has acted with discernment, has put football before marketing, tactics before the headline, the idea before the impulse, and this must be a source of hope. Because when a club makes decisions like this, it shows that it has matured, that it is ready to build, not just to compete, that it is willing to do whatever is necessary to return to victory, without renouncing its essence. And this, in the modern football world, is almost revolutionary. Pedro Porro will continue his path. Perhaps he will end up at Bayern, perhaps at another big club. He has quality, physicality, conditions to triumph in many contexts, but his is not that of Barcelona. Here, we play something else. Here we think about football from possession, control, structure, and this, today more than ever, is non-negotiable. That is why this refusal is not a closure, it is a declaration of principles. Barcelona does not buy smoke. Barcelona does not sell out to the market. Barcelona is once again the one who decides, who knows what it wants, who builds with logic. And as long as it is so, this club has everything to reconquer Europe. The third piece of news concerns the historic recruitment that Madrid is preparing. Barcelona finds itself at a crucial moment, taking decisive and firm steps to carry out one of the most ambitious and surprising operations that the football world has seen in recent years. The possibility of recruiting Erling Holland, the Norwegian striker who has proven to be a true goal machine and a phenomenon in Europe, is closer than ever. And everything indicates that this incorporation will not only change the dynamics of the team, but will also revolutionize the way the club is perceived worldwide. The news that Holland has already communicated to Pep Guardiola his intention not to continue at Manchester City next season was the starting point for Barcelona, under the determined direction of Joan Laporta, to set all the machinery in motion to make this Blaugrana dream a reality. Joan Laporta, who has demonstrated in previous stages to be a visionary and audacious president, is deploying all his resources and experience to make a colossal financial operation viable that allows Holland's arrival at the club. This operation is not only a sporting matter, but also strategic and financial. The magnitude of the recruitment requires an exhaustive analysis, innovative agreements, and meticulous planning that ensures the club can face the investment without compromising its economic stability. Laporta knows that the incorporation of a player of Holland's caliber represents a huge qualitative leap on the field, but also a clear statement of intent to the entire football world. Barcelona is once again becoming one of the greatest, ready to compete and win with the best weapons. From a tactical and sporting point of view, Hansi Flick has been a key piece in the evolution of the Blaugrana project. The German coach, who has managed to implement a competitive and effective style, has given the green light to Holland's arrival. Flick knows that he will not be able to count on Robert Lewandowski for much longer due to his age and circumstances, so the arrival of a young, powerful, and goal-scoring striker like Holland is vital to maintain and improve the team's competitive level. The idea is clear: to strengthen the tip of the attack with a player who not only has impressive statistics but can also integrate perfectly into the game system, generating constant danger, connecting with the rest of the team, and bringing that extra energy and determination necessary in decisive matches. In the media environment and among the supporters, the news has generated a mix of enthusiasm and skepticism, especially due to the doubts that remain about Barcelona's economic capacity to face an operation of this magnitude. Many media have questioned whether the club really has the resources to conclude a recruitment of this caliber, recalling the financial difficulties it has had to overcome in recent years. However, Joan Laporta has responded with firmness and clarity, launching a forceful message to all those who doubt: never doubt Barcelona. This phrase has become a symbol of the club's current spirit, which has known how to overcome obstacles, implement solid and responsible management, and is now ready to strike a big blow and demonstrate that it remains one of the most powerful and respected institutions in the sports world. A fundamental factor in this operation is the attitude of Rafaela Pimenta, the player's representative, who has shown a clear and collaborative stance for Holland to wear the Blaugrana jersey next season. The Brazilian has publicly stated that she is working intensely to fulfill her client's wish, and that wish is to play for Barcelona. This commitment from the agent gives even more strength and credibility to the possibility that the operation will succeed, and adds an element of confidence for all the supporters who are eagerly awaiting the arrival of a striker of this magnitude. For the Blaugrana supporters, the news of the possible incorporation of Holland is a source of enormous enthusiasm and hope. We are not only talking about a player with impressive statistics but a footballer who brings together exceptional qualities: physical power, speed, precision in shooting, tactical intelligence, and an uncommon goal-scoring instinct. His arrival would imply a radical change in the team's offensive style, bringing a new level of threat that could tip matches and titles in favor of Barcelona. The idea of having Holland in the attack means dreaming of an unstoppable attack, capable of breaking defenses and generating a spectacle in every match. Furthermore, this operation sends a message of maturity and ambition from the club. Barcelona is not only building a project for the future, but is also seeking immediate results. Holland is at the ideal age to be the reference striker for many years and to consolidate a winning cycle. His arrival symbolizes a clear bet on excellence and competitiveness, reaffirming the club's commitment to maintaining itself in the elite of world football. Now, it is the moment for the Blaugrana supporters to reflect and express their opinion on this move that can mark a before and after in the recent history of the club. What do you think, Kules? Do you believe that Holland is the player we need to dominate Europe and the world again? Does the idea of seeing such a spectacular striker in action wearing the Blaugrana colors excite you? It is an opportunity to demonstrate unity, passion, and support for the management and the technical staff who are making a titanic effort to succeed in bringing a player who, without a doubt, can make the difference. In conclusion, the arrival of Holland would be a masterstroke not only in the transfer market but also a clear signal that Barcelona is ready to regain its place among the greats, with ambition, talent, and management aimed at success. Enthusiasm and optimism are in the air, and the hope of seeing the Norwegian striker score decisive goals for Barcelona fuels the dream of all supporters. Visca el Barca, and long live the hope of a new golden era with Holland as the absolute protagonist. Forward, Kules. The future is painted Blaugrana and full of glory. If you want me to continue developing or adding a particular aspect, let me know. Leave us your opinion in the comments.